Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to thank you all for coming. I've had a great time meeting you guys this weekend so far, so I just wanted to thank you.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Brian. I have a question for Sean. There's a lot of rumors going around that they're casting Indiana Jones, replacing Harrison Ford. And since she played young Indiana Jones, I just wondering if they'd even looked you up or contacted you for the possibility.
Wait, they're replacing Harrison Ford?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't even know that. Why would you replace Harrison Ford?
I mean, there's a lot of rumors that Robert Pattinson may be having the role, and we were just
Harrison Ford's like, to me, Harrison Ford was like the last iconic movie star we've ever had, you know?
Yes.
We've had a lot of actors that have reached fame, but Harrison Ford is like an old Paul Newman movie star. I don't know how anybody fills those shoes like Harrison Ford. I mean, as long as the cat's breathing, the Indiana Jones that I want to see is a Harrison Ford Indiana Jones, you know? It's like, it's the truth though. I mean, I hope they don't replace Harrison Ford. That's blasphemy, I say.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Good question.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
All right. Now, I know during the movie you guys probably came up with so many like improvs and everything like that. During the movie, was there ever a time when you wanted to create like your own scene that wasn't scripted? Like you guys maybe thought something really funny or something that probably wasn't appropriate to put into the movie?
Yeah, but I'll tell you this just from a filmmaker perspective. The last fucking thing you ever tell an actor is feel free to improvise.
Well, especially you.
That's like telling a dude on the first date, like, hey, as soon as you're ready to take your clothes off, you know, you just don't tell an actor fucking feel free to improvise.
But you don't.
Fucking actors are like making shit up that has nothing to do with the price of eggs. But yes, I'm sure everybody would like, holy shit, it'd be cool if we could blah blah or blah blah. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, we have one more.
Hi, Sean. I just want to ask about this movie, The Kiss. I don't know, you're going to be filming in September, and can you give us some what's it about and something about it, or?
You know, it's a killer script. It's a pretty deep art house piece, and it's directed by an amazing French director, and it's about I don't want to give too much away, but it's an artist that he's a sculptor, and he goes to some very, very extreme lengths for realism, and I'll just leave it at that. But it's a pretty gnarly piece.
That's really cool.
Yeah, killer. But it's one of those films that it's rare in your career when you can actually say that, wow, I would love to watch this movie, whether I was in it or not. And it's one of those.
Thank you.
When does it come out, Sean?
We don't start filming until September, so.
Okay.
September 20th.
Wow, she's got my call sheet.
She can let you know your call times, I bet.
Set my alarm. I didn't even know sometimes when I know it's earlier. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I was wondering if you'd like to share the story about Norman dropping the soap in the second movie.
Say it again. What, he dropped the soap? How did I not hear about this?
I think you heard about it.
I think everybody's heard this story already.
Yes.
One more time.
I urge you all to go straight to YouTube.
Thank you.
It's one of my dearest friends, and I'll tell you this, man. If they're your dearest friends, then you can fuck them up anytime you want to. And let me tell you this. Like, everybody always goes like, oh my God, you man, you're so mean to him. You know what? It's like, that's what best friends do, you know? It's an interesting thing, another social experiment, you know, dudes and chicks, you know? Chicks compliment each other when they don't really fucking mean it, you know? Dudes fucking smack each other in the head when they don't really fucking mean it, you know what I mean? That's the truth, you know? It's like, he's one of my closest friends, and so I give him shit. And that motherfucker's got an equal amount of dirt on me. Trust me. If I didn't trust him implicitly, I would shut the fuck up. Because he could open up the closet and go, really, Flannery? Hey, you guys have a look. I mean, but he did drop the soap. Motherfucker dropped the soap. I was there. Motherfucker dropped the soap. Yeah.
Get up there. You're in trouble now, man.
You're backlit. I can't even tell who it is. And plus, I'm from Texas. Hey, you know what? A shocker here. If you approach a door, I'm probably gonna fucking open it for you. Get over it. If it's chilly, I may give you my jacket. Get the fuck over it. Yes, ma'am. If my waitress, she could be fucking 18, I'm 109. I'm gonna call her ma'am, because that's the way I was fucking raised. I will not apologize for that shit. I don't know when it became rude to be fucking polite. What the fuck is that? Earmuffs. I apologize for the profanity back there. Sorry. Everything was backward. I just saw that there was like a 2-year-old, and I'm like cussing like a sailor.
I'm sorry.
Yes, baby.
So, you know that I'm asking you for a new story.
Say it again.
Just a new story. Come on, Sean.
It's a mystery.
Tell us about a new story. Tell us about Japan.
Tell you about Japan? You know what? I tell you guys the stories that are tame enough to not get me tossed in jail. And there's so very fucking few of those. I would love to tell you, Japan was a whole nother. Because I'm that dude. Everybody else is like Mr. Jeremy. I'm like, Ron, come on, Ron. Really, come on, man. I get the down and dirty. I would tell you a new story as soon as one gets approved. For the masses.
I've got a question for.
Wait,
I've got a question for Olive.
Wait, no.
What?
I asked him in line today for a new story.
Oh.
And I asked him Val asked you in Louisville for a new story about Japan. So I'm calling you out here, Joe.
Okay. Alrighty.
While you think of a new story, I got to point out the fact that there's somebody that in the front row right now that flew in from Japan to see you. Can you stand up in the front row? You flew in
Let me correct
from
you.
Japan.
There are four that flew in from Japan.
I see you. They're hiding. Lovely kimono. I love your kimono. Thank you.
There is There is Yuko.
So shy.
Stand up, Yuko.
Stand up. Stand up.
Wait. Mie. And Shiori, right there. Shiori, right here.
Stand up.
Now,
Joe.
check this out for a wacky little bit of trivia. Ellie, stand up. You see Ellie right there? Right hand to God. The first person that ever took pen to paper to write me what they call a fan letter was Ellie. I met her in 1992 in Japan. When I checked in, she was standing in the lobby. I met her, I chatted with her. She handed me my first fan letter ever. I still have that letter to this day. And I saw her when we went to Japan. And she didn't even think I would remember her. I was like, that's Ellie right there. That's fucking Ellie right there. And today, so we caught up in Japan, which was in December. But she flew to Japan to see me again, and she brought one of the first photos we ever took, and it has that date stamp on it from way back then. Isn't that killer? Literally, like everybody says, like, oh yeah, you're my first fan, my number one. No, motherfucker, I know who my first fan was. It's Ellie, and she's right there. I love you, baby. God bless. I'll tell you, that kind of stuff puts a smile on your face, but you cannot purchase with C-notes, a stack of them. You can't buy that kind of pleasure.
Thank you for making the trip all the way from
depths of my
Japan.
soul. God bless you.
And as a bonus, that's a Japan story.
What's that?
It's a new Japan story. Just it.
You have fulfilled your
Yeah,
obligation.
exactly. That's a Japan story. Yeah. And my three friends here, they traveled all the way from Japan to see me, Rocco, Brian Mahoney, and come and hang out. It's like whenever you travel that far, it's like, I don't know I don't know a lot of people who travel that far for Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean?
And thank you for the gifts. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you guys every time we see you guys. And a lot of you guys, we become, you notice like every time somebody comes up, they're calling by their name, because I know them. Because we've been hanging out that long. It's wonderful to have something in your career that has that kind of love and that kind of pull, you know? I didn't have another one of those in my career, you know? I've never seen anybody with a powder tattoo. You know? It'd be kind of weird if somebody tattooed across his back. I don't know. But you know, Boondock has that. You know, it just has that kind of like universal appeal, and I don't know. I'm very grateful. We're all very grateful. God bless you all, and especially for coming from Japan. You guys kick ass.
We have another audience question.
It's not really a question. The girl that's sitting next to me flew in from Serbia. So
I met her, yes. You're absolutely right.
I wanted to just give her a shout out. My voice is gone.
And she had an 8-hour layover.
Yeah.
I spoke to her yesterday. I know exactly who you're
I
talking
think
about.
that's wicked amazing.
Yeah.
From here, all these people that come from all over. Yeah. It's just,
Yep, there's 2 girls from Montreal. Where are you? 2 girls from Montreal. Oh, wait, yeah, y'all can't. Yeah, I know y'all. Where's the new chicks from Montreal? Back there? Yes. Ouais, je l'ai pas connu. Montreal. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be on the receiving end of something like that, you know?
We love Boondock Saints. We
God.
love Boondock Saints.
We love you.
Alright. I have kind of a strange request.
Yay!
I run a...
Let me just say, a chick asked to see my balls.
I know.
So,
Yeah, strange by your
well within the envelope of strange.
It's pretty sad.
So I run a Tumblr fan fiction blog, and I have a story that hasn't been updated in like 6 months because I don't have any inspiration. So I was wondering if you and David and Brian could do some like improv in character.
Oh
so
my
I could get some
God.
inspiration for my story.
Let me tell you this. Inspiration is an inside job. It really is. That's, I'd love to give you something that can steer you there, but it is an inside job just like motivation. It is. You gotta pull that out of somewhere. You gotta pull it out of somewhere in you. Otherwise, you're gonna see something and it's something that we meant to give you. It's not to get all hokey and bullshit like right away. That's an inside job. You gotta take the time to pull that out from somewhere. But, having said that, I'd love to see fucking Mahoney do some improvisation.
Yeah, okay, as the uptight, smart cop from Southie, I'll tell you, no, sit the fuck down.
But what is your fiction blog title? What you write it? You don't want people to check it out? Wait a minute, you came up here and asked for inspiration for some shit that I can't even fucking read? Then I echo Mahoney. Sit the fuck down. Alright, write it down. I want to check it out. I really do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 more.
Hi, my 2 friends from Texas, Redmond, Texas. I want to give a shout to you.
Yes.
And I'm a future Texan.
Tom Ball, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I'm a future Texan myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually wanted to ask you if there was a.
And Shreveport.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Fucking steel trap.
Yeah. Any place that still likes all the story in my book. Is there a specific role a dream role that you'd love to play, like maybe a real person or a famous character that you like to play?
Good question.
I mean, like Sean, if you played Indiana Jones, it was supposed to be like a series of Han Solo movies. Would you do the Han Solo movies if they asked you?
You know, look, like I said, I've made a career out of films that nobody sees. So obviously, if somebody wanted me to play Han Solo, I'd love to sit here and go, you know what, I'll read it and let you know. The answer is fucking yes.
Of course.
Yeah, I could have just read the Han without the Solo and it'd be yes. Would you like to? Yes. I can only pay you fine. Without. I'd love to be a fucking ego head, but I know my position in this world, and I'd be so grateful to do something like that. But in answer to your question, it all comes down to the writing and the execution.
Right.
So just a role, I can come up with a number of different figures, but unless the writing is done correctly, and it's on an each and every one basis. When you read something, it can be the most interesting piece of history that you've ever experienced, but unless it's executed correctly on the page, it may not translate as well. So depending on the writer, absolutely. I mean, I read things every day that I love to do, to be honest with you. You know, I do. And then I read things I'm like, oh my God, how did this piece of shit get financed?
I know, I think that
the majority in the latter category. But occasionally you read something like, wow, man, it's amazing. So on a daily basis, I see something I kill to do. I kill, but fucking maim severely.
I was said that the Star Wars prequels would have been better if you played Anakin.
I'm sorry?
I said the Star Wars prequels would have been better if you played Anakin because you look like a habit of Mark Hamill and got the edginess.
Thank you, brother.
Turn to the dark side, you know?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that would have been a much better movie.
So before we move on to our...
Oh yeah. Before I forget, is there anyone here from Framingham? I was born in Framingham, local boy. Just anybody? No. Fucking Framingham.
Yes, sir.
Years ago when I first saw Boondock, my buddies sat me down and they didn't tell me anything about the movie. They just said, you're gonna love it, just check it out, and that was it. So we all saw it. We all went out and bought the DVD and showed all of our friends over the next several years. What do you guys think about the longevity of this franchise? There's t-shirts, tattoos, action figures. What do you guys think about those?
Hey, it's great, yeah. I didn't think it would happen, you know. It's great.
Gotta give it up to Troy Duffy. Troy Duffy, he is the man. He is the creator. He's got the instincts. Another story about Troy, I don't know, well, probably a lot of you do know this. One of the big hot shots, Money Men, wanted the Willem Dafoe part to be played by Stallone. No! And Troy Duffy had the balls to say no. And then he picked Sean and Norm, and he had the choice. You would believe the people that tried. Mark Wahlberg tried out for this part. There was a lot of people who tried out for the part, and he said no. These two have the chemistry. They're the ones who are going to do it. He stuck to his guns, and he did it. Troy Duffy.
You know, a lot of people, they always say, you know, I hear this in the music industry all the time. Whenever people say, yeah, we're about to go in the studio and record a hit record. It's like, no, you're not, motherfucker, no, you're not. Hit record is dictated by a lot of variables outside of what you create. Just because you create something amazing doesn't make it a hit record. The people that listen to it make it a hit record. It can be the most amazing thing ever put down on wax. But unless the public goes, holy shit, and raises it up, that's what makes it a hit record. And when somebody goes, yeah, we're gonna do, why don't you make more cult hits? Because cult hits have nothing to do with quality. I mean, you'd like it to be good, but it has to do with you guys seeing something so special and unique and going, holy shit, I'm gonna show this. Out of my 8 friends, there's only 2 that are worthy of seeing this. You guys watch it, don't show it to the other 6 that we don't really like. And then they tell 2 friends and so on and so on. I mean, you want to execute something that means something to you, but just because you do something good doesn't mean that the public's going to take hold of it. And there's a lot of variables that are outside of our control, you know? I think one of the main reasons is nobody told you guys to like the film. There was no prints and ads going, and now Big Explosions Part 2 starring Willem Dafoe. You know, it was just there. And somebody found it. And it's like that obscure record that you think you found from the UK that nobody's ever heard. And then some dude in an orange Corvette pulls up next to you on the stoplight playing that song, and you're like, fuck you! Who turns him on to the fucking song? It's like that, you know what I mean? And Boondock just kind of took a life of its own like that. I remember going to Blockbuster. I got a phone call from Rita, she's like, dude, fucking Boondock's becoming a big hit. I'm like, yeah, well, fucking Rita's are out of your mind. Like, but he wasn't kidding. I went there and I saw like 2 copies on the shelf. Then the next week, it was a shelf. Then the next week, there was like 2 shelves. Then the next week, 1 section. Then the next week, the whole fucking wall of sections. It was crazy. I remember Regis called me, he's like, dude, I just saw a guy with our faces on a t-shirt on the Venice boardwalk. It was really crazy, man. And there's no recipe for that. I mean, if there was a recipe, everybody and their grandmother would be doing it instead of making $100 million pieces of fucking steaming shit. But, you know, I mean, in all honesty, it's here, because of Rita's here. It's everything.
Yes.
It's a lot of variables that come together magically when the timing is right and the political atmosphere is right to absorb a story like that. When the politically correct society is very different when you can get away with doing shit like that. I mean, some of the shit that we did in Boondock would appall people today. My God, you know. It's just, it's an honor to have ever been a part of something like that so many people have wholeheartedly embraced, you know? It's just, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And so it's flattered and honored, but there is no recipe, you know? It's just a really, really good experience to be a part of something like that.
Thank you, guys.
15 years!
We got time for 2 more questions.
I have a question.
Well, you know what? Let's just go through the line. No more people in line. Let's get everybody that stood in line. That's cool. Go ahead.
I have a question for Sean. Since your hair is blonde and there was a scene in Boondock 2 about Murphy dyeing his hair blonde.
Yes, gay blonde! Stay gold, booty boy! Yes, I will stay gold.
Do you think that there's going to be a scene in Boondock 3 about Murphy giving Connor shit for having his hair blonde?
Rita's already giving me plenty of shit. So I think we've shot that scene many times. But yes, to answer your question.
Hello, gents. Sean, I was wondering about your dojo in Los Angeles. Have you ever considered hiring a massage therapist to practice?
Oh.
Now, I'm not thinking that way. There's legit uses for massage therapy. And all I'm saying is, if you're interested, I will be a graduate in August, and I am Reiki trained, so I am very well with energy work and with muscular structures. And not in that way either. It's a legit practice.
I will keep it in mind. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right, you too.
Hi, I just have a quick general question and one request for Rocco. Do you guys wish that Rocco's character had lived past
Yeah.
I didn't hear either.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right into the mic. Oh, okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I said I had one general question and a request for Rocco. Do you guys wish his character had lived past the first movie?
Of course.
And my one request is, when I walk away, can you tell me catch you on the flip side?
Of course.
That's it.
Is Spartacus there?
Walk away. Catch you on the flip side.
You know, guys, the Rocco character to me is the conscience of the whole film. You know, it's every syllable out of that cat's mouth is the public. You know, fuck yeah, you should be on every corner. I think it's the sentiment of everybody that fell in love with this film. It's him going, holy shit, what a great idea. You know? So I fell in love with the character.
Is he dead?
Let me tell you this. This is how fucked up Rocco. Rocco couldn't get his line right. So we ended up killing 19 cats to get that scene shot right. That was long before PETA became a pain in our ass. Right? I'm kidding. Somebody here's dialing PETA right now. And also, Sean Patrick Flannery wore a live rattlesnake as a condom. Okay, that part happened, but the cats would stay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm from the Boston area, so this movie means a lot to me because of the city. What does this city mean to you guys?
What does the city of Boston mean to you?
Well, it starts with fucking Tea Party for me. But I like history. You know, and I kind of think that fucking sentiment is a wonderful inauguration into the Boondock Saints story.
Rebels!
The fuck this, we're not gonna take that shit anymore.
Boston is wicked strong. Wicked strong.
We know the greatest city in America to live is Boston. And the second greatest city to live in the United States is Boston. And the third greatest city to live in is Boston.
I don't think you people know how awesome you have it out here. The mix of the history, you have so many amazing colleges and so many brilliant people, and yet such a base of hardcore union workers, just bad to the fucking bone. It's a fantastic city. Good for you for living here.
I'm gonna take
And the fucking
from
Tea Party happened here, man, way back in the day. Yeah, no shit, but it's true. That was the first time motherfuckers were like, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna stand for that shit.
I'm gonna take a line from a movie. I'd rather be a lamppost in Boston than the king of Los Angeles.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you have the last question, so make it count.
Pressure.
Thank everybody for coming. What I wanted to see if Sean could tell everyone about Christmas 14 and Chinatown tomorrow.
Christmas 14 is a website that I started to sell some t-shirts, specifically designed by artists that I think are amazing. And I took some pretty iconic images and transformed them a little bit to change the message. There's a limited edition. I didn't know that they would sell like they would. The first run sold out like in the first day. So when people started going to the website, they're like, when's it going to be updated? I just didn't know that they would sell like that. The proceeds go to sponsor kids that can't afford it into martial arts program, because I know what it did for my life. It changed my life immensely. So we sponsor kids all over the country, put them in a lot of single parent kids, and the transformation is more than recognizable. I mean, kids that can't look you in the eye, they end up becoming men, becoming responsible, productive human beings, and it's truly amazing. And it did the same thing for me. So that's what Christmas 14 is. You can go to Christmas14.com. It's going to be back up and restocked with another limited edition of t-shirts within a week or two. I thought it would be done sooner than, but within a week or two it'll be. Shine Until Tomorrow is just that. It's a blog site that I started, and I write some stuff. Maybe it appeals to some people. Maybe this is some people.
I'm sorry, but it's very inspirational. You fucking kick.
You know, check it out if you want to. It's I write some personal stuff on there, some not so personal stuff on there, but it's all from the heart, and it's called ShineUntilTomorrow.com. Also Christmas14.com. We have some really killer, unique T-shirts that we're selling. It all goes to a great cause too. So, and that's what that's about. And it all starts from my martial arts background. It's something that I can give back because I know what it did for me. Let me say this, guys. I can't say this enough, that it's truly an honor to come into a room like this and have people just sit down and want to hear you tell stories about something that you've been paid to do for 20 years, you know? I've had real jobs in my life, and this ain't fucking one of them, you know? I make the analogy to a ditch digger, but I used to dig ditches for a janitorial company, which are the wrong kind of ditches to fucking dig. And I'll tell you, never once did I go outside and practice digging that ditch because one day I thought somebody paid me for it. Fuck no. I didn't dig a ditch until the motherfuckers paid me, and I learned on the job. This is an industry where people go out and they do this shit for free, hoping one day they'll get paid for it. You know? So I know how lucky we are, and it's an honor and it's a privilege, and it's very humbling to have you guys show up and fly from Japan, you know? Or fly from Serbia, you know, or Montreal, just to come and hang out with us for a little bit. It is an honor, and from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for you guys. It makes me smile.
We love you guys.
Without you guys, seriously, we wouldn't be here. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I hope we make movies that you guys love in the future, because this is truly, truly a pleasure. It really is.
And can we hear it for our beautiful moderator, Katie?